We just got in a tweet from the President-elect Donald Trump on Twitter. The President-elect says Toyota Motors said will build a new plant in Baja, Mexico to build Corolla cars for U.S. No way, build the plant in U.S. or pay big border tax.
What if I told you Toyota just defied Donald Trump in a way no car company has dared before? In a shocking announcement, Toyota has sent shockwaves through the automotive industry, boldly challenging Trump's America First policies. Why did Toyota take this risk? What does it mean for American workers and industry? And how far is Trump willing to go to retaliate? Stick around, because this battle could rewrite the future of American manufacturing. What's happening? Toyota, a symbol of reliability and American partnership, makes a move no one saw coming. The announcement wasn't just business strategy, it was a bold statement. Toyota revealed plans to shift significant portions of its electric vehicle production overseas. To the public, this was shocking. For decades, Toyota had been a partner to the American worker, with its factories providing jobs and stability across the country. But behind the scenes, cracks were forming, cracks that hinted at this very moment. The seeds of conflict had been sown years ago during the Trump administration. As Trump pushed his America First agenda, Toyota appeared to align. They invested in U.S. factories and played their part in the economy. But the costs of doing business in America, tariffs, supply chain disruptions, and rising production expenses were quietly taking their toll. For years, warning signs were ignored. Toyota faced the same pressures as other automakers, balancing the need for profitability with mounting demands for electrification and sustainability. Now, with Trump rallying for a political comeback, Toyota's bold move feels like the inevitable result of years of tension and compromise. But Toyota's announcement wasn't just surprising, it was explosive. Let's dig into the hard facts to understand the scale of this decision. Toyota's bold move. Toyota's announcement sent shockwaves through the auto industry, and the numbers paint a startling picture. The decision to move EV production overseas means that billions of dollars worth of investments will flow to markets like Europe and Asia. For American workers, this feels like a blow, but for Toyota, it's a matter of survival in a cutthroat global market. Here's the hard truth, the EV revolution is expensive. Critical materials like lithium, cobalt, and nickel, essential for EV batteries, are primarily sourced and processed overseas. Add Trump's tariffs, which increase the cost of importing these materials, and you have a recipe for skyrocketing production expenses. For Toyota, the solution was clear. Shift production to regions where supply chains are already established and costs are manageable. The comparisons are staggering. While Tesla boasts fully American-made EVs, Toyota is pursuing a global strategy. By expanding its production in Asia and Europe, the company hopes to cut costs by as much as 20% per unit. But in the eyes of Trump and his supporters, this isn't strategy, it's betrayal. The ripple effects are already being felt. Factory workers in US-based Toyota plants are questioning what this means for their futures. Trump supporters are calling for boycotts, claiming Toyota is turning its back on America. The stakes are rising by the minute. So how did Toyota, a company long associated with American jobs, reach this tipping point? Well, it all comes down to three key factors. Let's break it down. Tariffs that backfired. When Donald Trump introduced tariffs on imported materials like steel, lithium, and cobalt, the intention was clear: protect American industry and bring manufacturing jobs back home. For companies like Toyota, however, these tariffs had unintended consequences. The cost of production, especially in the rapidly evolving electric vehicle sector, began to skyrocket. EV batteries, a crucial component in this technological shift, became disproportionately expensive to manufacture domestically. Take a single EV battery pack, for example. Under Trump's tariffs, the price of producing these batteries in the US can climb by thousands of dollars compared to global competitors. Why? Lithium and cobalt, essential for these batteries, are largely mined and processed overseas, with limited infrastructure to support domestic sourcing. As a result, companies like Toyota faced a difficult choice: absorb the rising costs and risk losing competitiveness, or look abroad for solutions. Toyota chose the latter. The company's leadership saw the writing on the wall. Continuing domestic EV production under these conditions wasn't just expensive, it was unsustainable. While tariffs were designed to boost US manufacturing, they inadvertently pushed companies to seek more cost-effective options in global markets. This decision, while practical, came at a reputational cost. For decades, Toyota had positioned itself as a partner to American workers, with factories and jobs deeply rooted in states like Kentucky and Indiana. The optics of shifting production abroad, especially for EVs, a cornerstone of the auto industry's future, created a backlash that Toyota couldn't ignore. Yet for the company, the alternative was worse, falling behind in the fiercely competitive EV market. Trump's tariffs may have been well-intentioned, but for Toyota, they highlighted a harsh reality. The cost of staying in America's good graces was becoming too high, and as production costs soared, it became clear that protecting profits and ensuring global competitiveness would take precedence. But tariffs weren't the only challenge Toyota faced. Global supply chain challenges. The global EV industry hinges on a delicate and geographically constrained supply chain, and Toyota wasn't immune to its challenges. Unlike traditional vehicles, EVs rely heavily on rare earth materials such as lithium, cobalt, and nickel, resources that are predominantly mined and refined in a few key regions, primarily in Asia. This concentration of resources gave countries like China a significant advantage in the EV race, leaving American factories at a distinct disadvantage. Consider this, nearly 90% of the world's lithium processing occurs in China, making it nearly impossible for companies like Toyota to locally source this critical material. The infrastructure needed to process and refine these resources domestically simply doesn't exist at scale in the United States. Without it, American automakers like Toyota are left reliant on overseas markets, even as political pressures demand domestic production. For Toyota, this posed a logistical and strategic dilemma. On one hand, the company could continue trying to navigate these supply chain bottlenecks from the US, absorbing the higher costs and slower production times. On the other, they could shift key production operations to regions where the supply chain was already well established, allowing them to maintain a competitive edge in the rapidly evolving EV market. The choice was clear. By expanding production in Asia and Europe, Toyota could streamline its supply chain, cut costs, and position itself to compete more effectively against rivals like Tesla. But the decision didn't come without consequences. In the eyes of many American workers and consumers, Toyota's reliance on overseas markets seemed to contradict its long-standing image as a partner to the US economy. This reliance on global supply chains also brought Toyota into the crosshairs of Trump's America First agenda. Critics argued that the company's move abroad was evidence of corporate greed, while supporters saw it as a pragmatic response to an unavoidable reality. For Toyota, the narrative didn't matter as much as the numbers. Maintaining a foothold in the EV race required adapting to the global supply chain, regardless of the political fallout. But even with the supply chain in place, Toyota faced another pressing challenge: the EV revolution's unrelenting pace. The electric vehicle revolution isn't coming. It's already here, and it's moving faster than anyone anticipated. Automakers around the world are racing to adapt, and for Toyota, the stakes couldn't be higher. Staying competitive in the EV market isn't just about producing vehicles. It's about innovation, branding, and the ability to meet rapidly shifting consumer expectations. Leading this charge is Tesla, a company that has redefined the EV industry and set a new standard for what electric vehicles can be. Tesla's dominance is built on a combination of cutting-edge technology, sleek design, and a powerful narrative of American-made innovation. For Toyota, competing with Tesla means doing more than simply building EVs. It means keeping pace with a company that has already captured the imagination of millions. But this isn't just a branding issue. Toyota's internal challenge lies in adapting its operations to the EV revolution's demands. The transition to electrification has upended traditional manufacturing processes, forcing automakers to rethink everything from battery production to supply chain logistics. For a company like Toyota, with decades of experience in gas-powered vehicles, the shift has been as daunting as it is necessary. Adding to the pressure is the speed of change. Governments worldwide are setting ambitious targets for phasing out internal combustion engines, while consumers are demanding cleaner, more efficient vehicles. Toyota's leadership knows that falling behind in this race isn't an option, yet keeping up means making bold and sometimes controversial decisions, like shifting production overseas to cut costs and boost efficiency. Toyota also faces a cultural challenge. In the US, Tesla has successfully framed itself as the patriotic choice for environmentally conscious consumers. The Made in America narrative gives Tesla an edge, especially among buyers who see sustainability and nationalism as complementary values. Toyota, by contrast, risks alienating these consumers by expanding its global operations. For Toyota, the unrelenting pace of the EV revolution is both an opportunity and a threat. To survive, the company must balance its global ambitions with its responsibility to American workers and consumers. But as the race heats up, one thing is clear: staying still is not an option. As Toyota navigates these challenges, the backlash from Trump and his supporters is only intensifying. Trump's furious response. Donald Trump isn't one to back down from a fight, and Toyota's decision has given him a rallying cry like no other. At a fiery rally just days after the announcement, Trump didn't mince words. Toyota was built on the backs of American workers, and now they're abandoning you. His supporters roared in agreement, their frustration palpable. Toyota, however, was ready for the backlash. In a carefully crafted statement, the company reaffirmed its commitment to the U.S. economy, pointing to investments in EV plants in Kentucky and Tennessee. Yet they stood firm on their decision to expand production overseas, framing it as a necessary step in the global EV race. The media frenzy only added fuel to the fire. Conservative outlets accused Toyota of selling out, while progressive voices applauded their focus on sustainability. Social media became a battlefield, with debates raging over what it means to be an American company in a global economy. And this is just the beginning. The deeper we dig into this conflict, the more explosive and consequential it becomes. The battle lines are drawn. The shockwaves of Toyota's announcement were felt far beyond its corporate headquarters. Across the United States, the backlash was swift and polarizing. Politicians, workers, and consumers alike began to take sides, turning what could have been a simple business decision into a national flashpoint. Donald Trump wasted no time framing Toyota's move as an attack on the American worker. At a rally in Michigan, he thundered, "Toyota has betrayed you. They are sending your jobs overseas while you are left with nothing." His words resonated deeply with factory workers and small-town business owners who relied on Toyota's local presence. The crowd's chants of "Bring our jobs back" echoed the frustration of many Americans who felt left behind by globalization. Meanwhile, progressive lawmakers and environmental activists applauded Toyota's strategy. They saw it as a necessary step in the fight against climate change, praising the company's focus on sustainable practices and global competitiveness. This divide only heightened the cultural tensions surrounding the decision. Social media became a battlefield, with hashtags like Boycott Toyota trending alongside Green Future Now. Videos of people smashing Toyota vehicles went viral, while others posted passionate defenses of the company's move. In small towns where Toyota factories served as economic lifelines, the conflict took on an even more personal tone. Local leaders scrambled to calm tensions, reminding residents of Toyota's ongoing investments in the United States. This was no longer just about Toyota or Donald Trump. The battle lines drawn by this decision highlighted a much larger divide in America, one between those clinging to traditional manufacturing values and others embracing a more globalized, sustainable future. The ripple effect. Toyota's decision didn't just impact its factories and workers. It sent ripples throughout the entire automotive industry. Rival manufacturers, including General Motors and Stellantis, watched the controversy unfold with a mix of caution and curiosity. How they chose to respond could reshape the competitive landscape of the electric vehicle market. General Motors, for example, issued a carefully worded statement emphasizing its commitment to American manufacturing. While avoiding direct commentary on Toyota's decision, they made it clear that their priority was supporting the United States economy through domestic production. On the other hand, Tesla seized the opportunity to promote its fully American-made electric vehicles. Chief Executive Officer Elon Musk tweeted, "This is why we build here," earning applause from his followers while deepening the pressure on Toyota. The ripple effects extended beyond manufacturers. Suppliers who worked closely with Toyota faced growing uncertainty about their roles in this new global production strategy. Small businesses that catered to Toyota's factory workers reported drops in foot traffic as communities braced for potential layoffs. Local economies built around Toyota plants found themselves at a crossroads, wondering if they would share in the company's green future or be left behind entirely. Industry analysts began speculating about the long-term implications. Would other automakers follow Toyota's lead, prioritizing global supply chains and cost efficiency over political optics? Or would they double down on domestic production, betting that loyalty to the United States market would pay off in the long run? For Toyota, the stakes extended far beyond this single decision. It had become a test case for navigating the intersection of globalization, sustainability, and national identity. The war of words intensifies. The escalating conflict between Toyota and Donald Trump wasn't just a political battle, it became a war of narratives. Trump, never one to back down, ramped up his attacks on Toyota. At rallies and in televised appearances, he accused the company of betraying the United States and abandoning the workers who had helped make it successful. This isn't just about one company, Trump declared during a fiery speech in Ohio. It is about whether we are going to fight for American jobs or let globalists take over our industries. His supporters responded with overwhelming enthusiasm, turning his critique of Toyota into a broader rallying cry against perceived corporate greed and globalization. Toyota's leadership, however, chose a different approach. Rather than engaging directly with Trump's accusations, they doubled down on their vision for the future. Public statements from the company emphasized its commitment to sustainability, innovation, and global competitiveness. Chief Executive Officer Akio Toyoda explained in an interview, "Our decision is not about abandoning the United States. It is about leading the way in a global transformation that will benefit all markets, including America." Media outlets seized on the growing drama. Conservative commentators sided with Trump, framing Toyota's decision as emblematic of a larger trend of disloyal corporations prioritizing profit over patriotism. Progressive outlets countered, highlighting Toyota's efforts to address climate change and meet the demands of a rapidly evolving global market. The war of words spilled onto social media, where influencers and everyday users debated the merits of Toyota's strategy. Some hailed it as a necessary evolution, while others condemned it as a betrayal of American values. The louder the debate grew, the clearer it became that this wasn't just about cars or factories. It was about the future of an industry, a nation, and the values they represent. Toyota may have anticipated backlash, but the sheer scale of the controversy was unprecedented. What began as a corporate decision had evolved into a cultural flashpoint, raising questions about what it truly means to be an American company in an increasingly interconnected world. Toyota's strategic defense. Facing mounting pressure from all sides, Toyota knew it had to act decisively to protect its reputation and maintain its standing in the United States. Public opinion was teetering on a knife's edge, and the company's response would determine whether it could weather this storm or suffer lasting damage. Toyota's leadership crafted a carefully worded message to reassure stakeholders. They emphasized their continued commitment to American workers, pointing to billions of dollars invested in new electric vehicle manufacturing plants in Kentucky and Tennessee. These facilities, they argued, represented Toyota's dual focus, supporting the American economy while competing in the global market. But actions speak louder than words. To further solidify its dedication to the United States, Toyota announced the creation of a state-of-the-art electric vehicle research and development center in Detroit. This initiative was framed as proof that the company wasn't turning its back on its American roots, but instead investing in a greener, more sustainable future for the country. Still, critics were skeptical. Many wondered if these moves were genuine gestures or simply damage control designed to placate an increasingly divided public. On one side, Trump supporters viewed Toyota's overseas expansion as a betrayal, regardless of the company's domestic investments. On the other, progressives welcomed Toyota's focus on sustainability, but questioned whether the company could truly balance global ambitions with local responsibilities. For Toyota, the stakes had never been higher. This wasn't just about public relations. It was about navigating a minefield of cultural, political, and economic tensions. As the company doubled down on its strategy, it became clear that the battle was far from over. Trump's next move. Donald Trump, never one to let a controversy fade, escalated his criticism of Toyota. His rallies became platforms for condemning the company, and his speeches were peppered with accusations of corporate greed and disloyalty. Toyota is abandoning the very workers who built their success, he declared during a fiery appearance in Pennsylvania. They care more about foreign profits than the American people. Behind closed doors, Trump's advisors began strategizing ways to turn this feud into a political advantage. One proposed measure was reintroducing stricter tariffs specifically targeting automakers that outsourced production. Another involved leveraging regulatory agencies to increase scrutiny of Toyota's operations in the United States, potentially creating roadblocks for the company's future expansion plans. At the same time, Trump saw an opportunity to broaden the narrative by framing the Toyota controversy as part of a larger struggle against globalization. He could rally not just his base, but also independent voters who felt disillusioned with corporate America. "This isn't just about Toyota," he proclaimed. "This is about every company that puts profits over patriotism." Strategy worked, at least in the short term. Trump's rhetoric resonated with millions of Americans who felt left behind by globalization and automation. Protests outside Toyota dealerships became more frequent, with demonstrators demanding the company bring the jobs back. Meanwhile, social media campaigns calling for boycotts gained traction, further fueling the fire. Toyota braced for impact. While the company remained committed to its global strategy, it was clear that the political and economic consequences of this feud could be far-reaching. For Trump, the Toyota controversy had become a symbol of his broader vision for an America-first economy. For Toyota, it was a battle to preserve its image and ensure its place in a rapidly changing industry. The industry holds its breath. The clash between Toyota and Donald Trump reverberated throughout the automotive industry. Rival manufacturers like General Motors, Stellantis, and even Tesla closely monitored the unfolding drama, aware that the outcome could set a precedent for how companies navigated the intersection of politics and business. General Motors opted for a cautious approach, reaffirming its commitment to American manufacturing without directly addressing Toyota's decision. The company highlighted its investments in domestic electric vehicle production, positioning itself as a steadfast supporter of the American workforce. Similarly, Stellantis, the multinational parent company of Chrysler and Jeep, chose to stay silent, wary of drawing Trump's ire. Tesla, however, seized the moment to amplify its American-made branding. Chief Executive Officer Elon Musk, known for his sharp and strategic social media presence, tweeted, "This is why we build here." The message was clear. Tesla viewed itself as the patriotic choice for electric vehicle buyers, capitalizing on Toyota's perceived misstep. Suppliers and smaller businesses tied to the automotive industry also felt the ripple effects. Companies that relied on Toyota's factories for contracts and sales faced uncertainty about how the global shift would impact their bottom lines. In states like Kentucky and Indiana, where Toyota's plants served as economic anchors, small-town businesses began bracing for potential downturns. Industry analysts speculated about what the Toyota-Trump feud might mean for the future of automotive manufacturing in the United States. Would other companies follow Toyota's lead, prioritizing global competitiveness over national loyalty? Or would they double down on domestic production, betting that American consumers would reward companies that stayed close to home? The industry's response underscored a larger truth. The Toyota-Trump clash wasn't just a corporate dispute, it was a litmus test for the auto industry's ability to adapt to a rapidly globalizing world while navigating the pressures of political and cultural expectations. For Toyota, the outcome of this conflict could redefine its legacy. For the industry at large, it was a warning of the challenges to come. A divided legacy. As the feud between Toyota and Donald Trump continued to dominate headlines, it became clear that this was about much more than a single company or a political figure. It was a reflection of broader tension shaping the future of American industry, globalization, and sustainability. For Toyota, the stakes were monumental. Once celebrated as a partner to the American workforce, the company now faced questions about its identity. Could it remain a global leader in the electric vehicle revolution while staying true to its American roots? The investments in domestic electric vehicle production were significant, but for many, they felt overshadowed by the decision to expand abroad. Donald Trump, meanwhile, had successfully turned the controversy into a cornerstone of his economic message. His fiery rhetoric resonated deeply with his supporters, who viewed Toyota's move as symbolic of a larger betrayal by corporate America. But this approach came with risks. As the automotive industry shifted towards sustainability and global integration, Trump's protectionist stance risked alienating some businesses and voters who saw these changes as inevitable. The conflict underscored a fundamental question for the United States. What does it mean to be a truly American company in a globalized world? For decades, the label Made in America represented strength, independence, and ingenuity. But as industries like automotive become increasingly reliant on global supply chains and advanced technologies, the lines between domestic and international blur. This divide also highlighted the challenges of balancing progress with tradition. Electric vehicles represent a shift not only in technology, but also in culture, challenging long-held assumptions about what defines American manufacturing. While Toyota's move toward sustainability aligns with the demands of a changing world, it comes at the cost of its once unshakable image as a partner to the US economy. The future of this conflict remains uncertain, but one thing is clear: the decisions made today will have far-reaching consequences for American industry, workers, and the economy. The next moves by Toyota and Donald Trump could shape the trajectory of manufacturing, trade, and innovation for decades to come. The tipping point. As the dust begins to settle, Toyota finds itself at a crossroads. Will it double down on its global strategy, risking further backlash from American consumers and political leaders? Or will it find a way to bridge the divide, proving that progress and patriotism can coexist? For Trump, the challenge lies in balancing his rhetoric with realistic policy proposals. While his tough stance on Toyota has galvanized his supporters, the larger question remains: can he influence an industry increasingly driven by global forces and technological innovation? This isn't just Toyota's story or Trump's battle, it's America's reckoning with the realities of the 21st century. The world is changing rapidly, and the choices made today will define what American industry means for generations to come. Now it's your turn. What do you think about Toyota's bold move and Trump's fiery response? Is this a betrayal of American values or a necessary step toward a sustainable future? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel so you never miss an update.